So I know I'm a bit late to the party when it comes to this, but we have the Google Pixel 9 Pro with us here today. I did purchase this with my own money, which is why it's taken this long to get my hands on it. But now that we have it, I wanted to do an unboxing and give my first impressions. Now, I am primarily an iPhone user. It's what I've been using for the past 10 years, but I wanted to try out an Android because I feel like iPhone upgrades have just gotten so boring in the past couple of years. Like, I feel like there isn't really much to talk about with them. And I also don't want this channel to become too Apple oriented. I feel like if I'm going to be reviewing the latest iPhone every year, I can't really give a proper unbiased review unless I've actually used other phones from different manufacturers. So, yeah, I just wanted to mention that I will be making quite a lot of comparisons to the iPhone in this video because that's the ecosystem that I'm the most familiar with. But yeah, let's get straight into this unboxing. So I have gone with the space black color, or Obsidian as Google are calling it. I did try experimenting with the silver color on the iPhone 14 Pro a couple of years ago, but I ended up really hating that color. So I think I will be sticking to black for the foreseeable future. So yeah, let's unbox this thing. So peeling this off. Oh, well, that wasn't very satisfying. That also wasn't very satisfying. Damn, Google really need to step it up with their box game. And then I think to open this, we slide it out. Okay, let's go for the reveal. I actually like how they've given you indicators for where the different buttons on the phone are. It's quite a neat addition from Google. Oh crap, I've done it the wrong way. Okay. Okay, I completely messed up that unboxing. But wow, this feels incredibly premium. So obviously one of the noticeable design changes with the Pixel 9 Pro this year is the new redesign. So we have these sort of squared off edges with, I don't know if this is stainless steel or aluminium. I think it's aluminium, but it's a very polished finish. Yeah, it just feels really nice to hold in the hand. And we've obviously got this matte glass surface on the back, which yeah, just looks super nice. Don't know how well you can see this on camera in the lighting that I have, but yeah, that looks incredible. And obviously we've got the new pill-shaped camera design this year, which I'm a big fan of. I actually think that it looks better than the iPhone's camera design, with that three camera arrangement. I think that the Pixel looks a lot nicer. But yeah, I actually want to quickly get my iPhone 14 Pro to show you the comparison. So you can see the size comparison to the iPhone 14 Pro here. It is slightly taller and similar-ish width. But yeah, you can see that the designs do feel sort of similar. And that's mainly because of the glass material on the back and these squared off edges. But the Pixel 9 Pro definitely does feel a lot nicer to hold in the hands because the corners are slightly rounded on the edge. But I don't think that they look too similar. At the end of the day, these are smartphones, so they are inevitably going to look pretty similar. But yeah, one thing I've just noticed is that there are no volume buttons on the left-hand side on this Pixel. So if I look at the iPhone here, we've got the mute switch and our volume buttons and then the SIM card. But with the Pixel, so we've got the SIM card at the bottom here. We've got our USB-C port. I'm guessing that's the speaker. Then on the right-hand side, I'm guessing one of these buttons here is the power button. I'm guessing it's this button at the top here. And then I don't know what this does. I'm guessing it controls the volume um, by the looks of it. But yeah, otherwise a pretty minimal design. I have no clue what this thing at the top here does. Don't know if you can see that on camera or not. But yeah, I guess we'll find out. I may as well power on this device now and set this phone up. So I'm just setting this up. I have gone for the base model Pixel 9 Pro. It goes for £999 here in the UK. And with that, you get 128 gigabytes of storage and a 6.34-inch display. So it's basically identical to the iPhone 16 Pro in terms of pricing, storage, and sizing. I do think though that 128 gigabytes is cutting it a bit short when it comes to storage. Obviously, most people do use cloud storage and stuff like that nowadays, but Google are promising up to 7 years of OS updates for this thing, which on the one hand is really impressive, but equally, I don't know if 128 gigabytes is going to be enough to last for 7 years. I'm pretty sure I'm using something like 130 gigabytes already on my iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I've only had that for a year. Also, this year, the Pixel Pros do come in two different sizes. So previously, with the Pixel 8 Pro, you just had a large 6.7-inch model that went for £899, but now Google have made the base Pixel 9 Pro smaller with a 6.34-inch display, and they've added in a new Pixel 9 Pro XL model costing $10.99 to replace the 6.7-inch model. So depending on whether you like your phones big or small, this could be a good or a bad thing. I personally like my phones big, mainly because I like having the bigger screen and the better battery life. But I went with the regular Pixel 9 Pro because it was cheaper, to be honest. But yeah, it will be interesting to test out the displays on this phone because Google are saying that they're capable of reaching up to 3000 nits of peak brightness outdoors, which is just wild. I thought that 2000 nits on my iPhone 15 Pro was bright, but 3000 nits is just another level. Of course, it remains to be seen if that brightness level can be sustained outdoors without the displays overheating or dimming, which now that I think about it is going to be pretty difficult to test out because summer has just ended here in the UK. Of course, one of the things Pixel phones are known for is their cameras, which I'm really looking forward to testing out. I'm a heavy camera user on my iPhone. In fact, the iPhone is what I use to record all of these YouTube videos with. This video right now is being shot on my iPhone 15 Pro Max. So it will be interesting to see how the Pixel compares because on paper, it does appear to have slightly better specs than the iPhone. So it has a 50 megapixel main lens camera compared to 48 on the iPhone, a 48 megapixel ultra wide camera, which is the same as the iPhone, and a 48 megapixel 5x telephoto lens compared to just 12 megapixels on the iPhone. And apparently, there's also this super res zoom feature that lets you use AI to zoom in up to 20 times without losing quality, which is just wild if it can actually do that. Like, imagine you went to see a football game and you could zoom in on all of the players without losing any detail. Like, I feel like that would be a killer feature for a lot of people out there. Of course, AI was also a big talking point during the Google keynote event this year. They announced a number of new AI features, including upgrades to Gemini and some image generation features. And a lot of these features are apparently happening on device, and they're being powered by Google's own Tensor G4 chip. So just like Apple make the A18 Bionic chips for the iPhone, Google have also been making their own sort of custom-made chips for their smartphones. Although I have heard some people online say that the chips aren't quite as good as the Snapdragon chips that you see in other flagship Android phones. So it will be interesting to see how the performance compares, especially since it does come with 16 gigabytes of RAM. And yeah, I feel like this is an area where Apple have actually lagged behind. Now, I know a lot of people will say that the amount of RAM that a phone has doesn't really matter because the user experience is what matters the most. And whilst that technically is true, I still do think that the amount of RAM you have does matter. The main reason why the iPhone 15s aren't getting Apple Intelligence this year is because they only have 4 gigabytes of RAM, which, to be honest, is Apple's fault for not future proofing their own chips. And even with the iPhone 16s, I'm pretty sure that they only come with like 8 gigabytes of RAM, which, if they're planning on introducing more on device AI features in the coming years, probably isn't going to be enough. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the overall user experience and the sort of battery life and performance and OS compares on the Pixel 9 Pro compared to the iPhone. My guess is that they're probably going to be pretty similar because I feel like smartphones have just gotten so good nowadays that it's pretty difficult to tell any differences between them. I guess a lot of it does just boil down to which OS you prefer and which ecosystem that you're in. Like I said, I primarily am an iPhone user. I'm currently using the iPhone 15 Pro Max as my daily driver, So it will be interesting to see how the Pixel 9 Pro fares in comparison, because I have heard a lot of people online talking about this phone as being like the sort of iPhone of Androids. So yeah, I'm going to try and use this device as my main phone over the next 2 weeks, which is going to be interesting because Apple have just dropped the new iPhone 16 Pros, which I will also need to be testing soon. So I don't quite know how that's going to work out in terms of timing, but hey, I'll figure it out somehow. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my review when it comes out. Let me know in the comments down below which aspects of the Pixel you'd like me to cover in my review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter and subscribe for the next one.